Good day to everyone. Today, I will be discussing to you about the police system of Canada. I am your presenter for today, Lloyd Rosario, a sophomore student taking up Bachelor of Science in Criminology. We have Jomari Rivera, a senior student taking up Bachelor of Science in Criminology as my companion in this report. First, we have here the national flag of Canada with a combination of white and red color. Next, we have the accredited flag of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police and the Police Agency of Canada. Now, let's have a short review about the country of Canada. Canada, a country in the northern part of North America. Its 10 provinces and 3 territories from the Atlantic, the Pacific, and northward into the Arctic Ocean, covering 9.98 million square kilometer or 3.85 million square miles, making the world's second largest country by total area. Its southern border with the United States stretching some 8,891 kilometers, 5,525 miles, is the world's longest binational land border. Canada's capital is Ottawa, and its three largest metropolitan areas are Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver. Canada is a parliamentary democracy and constitutional monarchy in the Westminster tradition, with a monarch and a prime minister who serves the chair of the cabinet realm within the Commonwealth of the nation, a member of the Francophonie, and officially bilingual and federal level. Here is the overview of the police system of Canada. Police Agency, Royal Canadian Mounted Police Department, Public Safety Canada. Ranks, Commissioners, highest, cadet, lowest. Type of the law enforcement, decentralized. Estimated strength, 30,558 as of April 1, 2021. Motto, uphold the law. RCMP workforce is represented by more than 19,000 police officers and supported by over 11,000 civilian members and public servants. Our strength is in delivering high-quality work that keeps our communities safe. The breakdown of our workforce by position as of April 1, 2021 is Commissioner 1, Deputy Commissioners 6, Assistant Commissioners 26, Chief Superintendents 54, Superintendents 179, Inspector 339, Corps Sergeant Major 1, Sergeant Major 10, Staff Sergeant Major 8, Staff Sergeants 830, Sergeants 1993, Corporals 3641, Constables 11,970, Special Constables 106, Public Service Employees 8,307, Civilian Members 3,087, a total of 30,558. For us to know more about the development of police system of Canada from time to time, we have here a short flashback about it. Canada's earliest form of law enforcement. The first sign of any Canadian legal tradition can be traced back all the way 1651, when Quebec City adopted a watchman system modeling that our various cities in France. During the same time, Ontario, formerly known as Upper Canada, fashioned its own legal system after English traditions, establishing a constabulary and a watch and ward system. While both Upper Canada and Quebec City followed different law enforcement tradition for several years. After 1759, the English system was imposed on French areas. In 1835, Toronto established a police department based on England's Metropolitan Police Act, and both Quebec and Montreal followed the city's lead shortly after in 1838 and 1840. And finally, provincial police forces were established for Eastern Canada's rural areas in 1867. 1868, Dominion Police was established. It is responsible for policing the mainland in Canada. Students enrolled in Police Foundation course know that the Northwest Mounted Police, the NWMP, known today as the RCMP, was officially created in 1873 by the Parliament of Canada. The officers that made up the police force were tasked with the responsibility of halting aggression from American whiskey traders in Alberta. Every graduate of law enforcement and public and police foundation programs will recognize February 1, 1920 as the day that the Royal Northwest Mounted Police Force was officially renamed to become the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. The Dominion Police and Northwest Mounted Police was merged to form the RCMP. In the 1970s, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police Force evolved considerably. In fact, not only did RCMP responsibilities expand in areas including airport policing, VIP security, and drug enforcement, but new members were also accepted. In 1974, women were granted acceptance to join the RCMP and become uniformed members. These days, the RCMP is responsible for every wide range of tasks in various areas, such as organized crime, terrorism, economic crimes, illicit drugs, and border crimes. As of 2013, the RCMP has over 23,000 employees across the enemy. Short details of Canada. Red Surge, tunic uniform of the RCMP. They are paying for international license. The proceeds from the fees is used for community awareness programs. Here is the organizational structure of Canadian police system. Commissioner, followed by deputy commissioners, assistant commissioners, chief superintendents, superintendents, inspectors, corps sergeant major, sergeant majors, staff sergeant majors, staff sergeants, sergeants, corporals, constables, special constables, civilian members, and public service employees. Now, what are the qualifications to meet in order to be part of the RCMP family? Recruitment. Be an Canadian citizen or have permanent resident status in Canada. Individuals with permanent resident status must have been physically present in Canada for 3 or 1,095 days out of the last 5 years as a permanent resident. Be at least 18 years of age to apply. Be proficient in English or French. Possess a valid unrestricted driver license. Be proficient in English and or French. meet the health and psychological standards, meet the vision standards, meet the standards, meet the hearing standards, meet the necessary level of physical abilities. Be prepared and able to carry a firearm into you and to use it or any other necessary physical force. Be willing to spend 26 weeks at the RCMP's Training Academy or Depot Regina, Saskatchewan. Be willing to relocate anywhere within Canada. Be willing to work shift work including weekends and holidays. Be aware of requirements for tattoos, jewelry, and other personal effects. Now, let's have a look on the firearms, weapons, equipment that are present in Canada under their police agency. Firearms in Canada fall into three different classes. We have non-restricted, restricted, and prohibited. Non-restricted, this class includes any rifle or shotgun that is neither restricted nor prohibited. Most common long guns are not restricted, but there are exemptions. And restricted, handguns that are not prohibited firearms. Firearms that are not allowed are not prohibited firearms. Have a barrel less than 470 mm in length and capable of discharging center fire ammunition in a semi-automatic manner. Firearms designed or adapted to be fired with a reduced to a length of less than 660 mm by folding, telescoping, or otherwise. Firearms of any other kind prescribed to be restricted firearms in the regulation. And lastly, prohibited. Handguns with barrels equal to or less than 105 mm in length. Handguns designed or adapted to discharge a 25 or 32 caliber cartridge. This does not include handguns for use in international sporting competition governed by the rules of the International Shooting Union and where the handgun is prescribed to be restricted. Firearms adapted from a rifle or shotgun, whether by sewing, cutting, or any other alteration, and so adapted are less than 660 mm in length, 660 mm or greater in length, and has been a barrel less than 457 mm in length. Automatic firearms, whether or not altered, to discharge only one projectile with one pressure of the trigger. Firearms prescribed to be prohibited firearms in the regulations. As you can see, we have here a picture of the different categories of firearms in Canada. We have non-restricted, restricted, and prohibited. Here are some examples. The first picture, S&W Model 5906, SIG Sauber P220, and PX4 Storm. Now, let's take a look on the prescribed uniform of Canadian law officers. Here are some pictures. The RCMP's distinctive dress uniform or review order is recognized as the Red Surge by the public. A scarlet tunic with a high collar, midnight blue, trousers with a yellow leg stripe, a some brown belt with a white sidearm lanyard, ox blood, riding boots perhaps with spars, and a brown felt campaign hat are all included. let's proceed to the different ranks and insignia. We have Canada Mounted Police Assistant Commissioner, Canada Mounted Police Chief Superintendent, Canada Mounted Police Commissioners, Canada Mounted Police Corporal, Canada Mounted Police Corps Sergeant Major, Canada Mounted Police Deputy Commissioners, Canada Mounted Police Inspector, Canada Mounted Police Sergeant Major, Canada Mounted Police Sergeant, Canada Mounted Police Staff Sergeant Major, Canada Mounted Police Staff Sergeant, Canada Mounted Police Superintendent, RCMP Assistant Commissioner Insignia, RCMP Assistant Commissioner Rank, RCMP Assistant Commissioners, RCMP Cadet Insignia, RCMP Chief Superintendent Insignia, RCMP Chief Superintendent Rank, RCMP Chief Superintendent, RCMP Commissioner Insignia, RCMP Commissioner Rank, RCMP Commissioners, RCMP Constable Insignia, RCMP Corporal Insignia, RCMP Corporal Rank, RCMP Corporal, RCMP Corps Sergeant Major Insignia, RCMP Corps Sergeant Major, RCMP Deputy Commissioners Insignia, RCMP Deputy Commissioners Rank, RCMP Deputy Commissioners, RCMP Inspector Insignia, RCMP Inspector, RCMP Inspector, RCMP Sergeant Major Insignia, RCMP Sergeant Major Rank, RCMP Sergeant Major, RCMP Sergeant Rank, RCMP Sergeant, RCMP Staff Sergeant Insignia, RCMP Staff Sergeant Major Insignia, RCMP Staff Sergeant Major Rank, RCMP Staff Sergeant Major, RCMP Staff Sergeant Rank, RCMP Staff Sergeant, RCMP Superintendent Insignia, RCMP Superintendent Rank, RCMP Superintendent, and RCMP GRC Commissioners. Now, let's talk about best practices. The first one, Canada International Police Peacekeeping and Peace Operation Program. On behalf of Canadian Policing Arrangement, a partnership between RCMP Public Safety Canada and Global Affairs Canada. The RCMP managed the International Police and Peacekeeping and Peace Operation or IPP program. In particular, the RCMP is responsible for recruiting, screening, selecting, training, and deploying Canadian law enforcement officials to international peace operation and bilateral in other missions. This includes mission deployment planning, assessment, and reporting. Additionally, the RCMP is responsible for providing duty of care support in Canadian law enforcement personnel while in mission and during their reintegration at home. To date, the program has supported the deployment of over 4,000 Canadian police officers to various peace operation missions led by the United Nations, European Union, and other multilateral organizations, as well as to diverse countries on a bilateral basis to support police development and other security sector reform efforts. Presently, Canadian officers are deployed to mission in Mali, Haiti, Iraq, Ukraine, and the West Bank, with more deployments on the horizon. Further, a senior RCMP police officer is deployed to the permanent mission of Canada to the United Nations to work with the UN bodies, members and states, other partners to represent the Canada Police community and to advance and advise on all matters related to Canada's police participation in UN peace operation, including the implementation of WPS agenda. Number 2, commitment to gender equality and inclusion within the RCMP. Promoting gender equality and increasing diversity at all levels remains a key priority of RCMP. The RCMP's initiatives are set against the backdrop of the Government of Canada's commitment to the implementation of Gender-Based Analysis Plus or GBA Plus as articulation of the government-wide approach to gender mainstreaming. GBA Plus is used to ensure that policies, programs, and other initiatives are developed in consideration of gender and other diversity factors. In late 2016, the RCMP created a new workforce culture and employee engagement or WCEE unit to promote gender equality and culture change over the long term. While the WCEE strategy is currently under the development, it will include implementing a target approach to ensure the use of GBA Plus across the organization as a way of identifying barriers that developing strategies to increase diversity and to inform effective operation approaches. In the near term, this will include applying the GBA Plus lens to recruitment and promotional policies and practices. The WCEE activities will complement the renewal of the RCMP's National Diversity and Employment Equity Plan to be released in 2007. The RCMP currently has 5 Employment Equity National Advisory Committees. First, RCMP Aboriginal Employee Council, National Advisory Committee for Visible Minorities. The third, National Women's Advisory Committee. The fourth, National Advisory Committee for Persons with Disability. And lastly, Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Trans, Two-Spirited National Advisory Committee. These committees provide important recommendation through their respective seniors champions on way to address employment equity issues and advocate on behalf of employees at the national level within the RCMP's division. In 2018 to 2019, a new RCMP Diversity Council will be created to link all 5 national advisory committees and to set the strategic direction for diversity and inclusion in the RCMP. And lastly, priority areas for action on women, peace, and security in the renewed National Action Plan. Under the renewed action plan, the RCMP remains committed to enhancing the participation, empowerment, and protection of women and girls in fragile and conflict-affected state by taking a more gender-sensitive approach. Especially, the RCMP will focus on key priority areas for action. Number 1, strengthen governance and accountability at home and abroad. Secondly, enhance capability to undertake WPS and gender analysis in the design and planning of gender-sensitive programming. Third, enhance the gender-sensitive elements within police peace operation programming in fragile and conflict-affected states, including preventing and responding to sexual exploitation and abuse. And lastly, continued focus on deploying more women police officers in international peace operation missions, especially in senior and or influential position. The RCMP undertake key activities under each priority area. As outlined below, throughout the implementation of the action plan, these activities will be updated and adjusted as required. In conclusion, the RCMP is committed to continued dialogue with the various partners and stakeholders on WPS-related matters to further inform and support activities under Action Plan 2017 to 2022. It intends to contribute to various interdepartmental meetings and discussion with civil society, including the Action Plan Advisory Group and the Peace and Stabilization Operation Program or PSOPs Advisory Board to support the development and integration of gender-sensitive programming and the sharing of lessons and practices. In addition, the RCMP and its CPA partners will engage more within the UN, other multilateral bodies, and though bilateral missions to provide leadership or influence WPS-related policies, program, and initiatives. This could include providing mentorship, sharing lessons learned and best practices, as well as supporting others actors in carrying out gender-sensitive programming. Gender, diversity and inclusion, and their pursuit within the WPS agenda are important. Peace support operations have become increasingly complex and sustainable progress cannot be achieved by any player acting alone. It is recognized that the comprehensive multidisciplinary and multi-stakeholders approach is needed to collectively achieve more inclusive, equitable, and stable societies, where women and girls have a permanent and meaningful seat at the table. Other details: the RCMP also provides provincial policing in 8 Canada's provinces, excluding Ontario and Quebec, and contract policing in 3 territories: Northwest Territories, Nunavut, and Yukon, as well as more than 150 municipalities and 600 indigenous communities and 3 international airports. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police, RCMP French Gendarmerie, and Gendarmerie Royale du Canada, GRC, also known as the Mounties, are Canada's federal and national police force responsible for federal law enforcement. The Mounted Police of Canada mark a substantial shift from Anglo-Saxon policing practices. They were organized, styled, and function more like a military organization than a traditional police force, similar to the models of France and Ireland in terms of organization, styles, and approach. They function with prudence and within Canadian political tradition thanks to strong leadership. The RCMP is unique in the world since it is national, federal, provincial, and municipal policing body. It provides law enforcement at the federal level. RCMP is responsible for enforcing federal laws throughout Canada, while general law and order In general, law and order is constitutionally the responsibility of the provinces, and larger cities may form their own municipal police departments. And that's all for today. Have a nice day. Again, these are your presenters, Lloyd D. Rosario from BSCRIM 2-1 and Jomari R. Rivera from BSCRIM 4-1. Thank you. Salamat. Magbalat. Agyaman.